First of all, it is my pleasure indeed to welcome you to Parkside 3. This is the third and final phase of our Parkside development here off of Cross Keys Road. Many of you may have remembered that this used to be the site of the Cabana Club originally, and from that it was the YWCA for years until we bought it and created these 3 phases of affordable housing. It's my great honor to welcome our Mayor of Lexington. There were a lot of people involved in the creation of this development, and we heartily thank the Mayor and the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. I do see that one of our prime investor is here, who we've now done 16 projects with, and that's KHEC, the Community Affordable Housing Equity Corporation out of North Carolina. This is our 16th deal together, which is pretty amazing. Tammy Thomas of our construction and permanent lender from Cub Bank. And I think, is Jeremy Ratliff here from KHC? Oh, great, fantastic, wonderful. All right, with no further ado, it's my pleasure to welcome our Mayor, James P. Gray II.
Wow, I'd forgotten that was my name, Holly. Hey, how y'all doing this morning? Good morning, everybody. A couple of weeks ago, we were in downtown, and I announced that the city was over the 100 million mark. And what is that? Well, since we funded our Affordable Housing Trust just 4 years ago, today Lexington has leveraged $101 million in private investment in affordable housing in our city. And that's with an investment of just $11.9 million by the city. That's a big deal. That's a it's a huge milestone. And of course, it includes Parkside investment right here in Gardenside. An infill development project that's having a really positive impact on the entire neighborhood. All you have to do is look around and see where we were. Holly, how many years ago was it?
I think it was like 8 years ago.
8 years ago when the first groundbreaking occurred. There are now 108 new affordable apartments right here in an area that was once neglected and blighted. An area that was a drain on the neighborhood is now an asset. And 108 low-income families and individuals have new, safe, affordable apartments. So I want to congratulate Holly and all of her team at AU Associates, and thanks to the many partners as well. We're going to hear from several of them. Our Affordable Housing Trust Fund, Rick McQuady's leadership, Kentucky Housing Corporation, and the private investors. Of course, we've still got a lot of work to do. Our city's challenged by affordable housing, just like across our country we see these challenges. But we are meeting those challenges with the help of everyone that's here today and many others in our city. So thank you all so very, very much. We're now at 1,358 families and counting. Okay, Holly.
All right. Thank you, Mayor, for your leadership and for the role that you've played in helping create affordable housing in Lexington. Next, I would like to introduce you, well, she probably needs no introduction, but Councilmember Peggy Henson, who has been here, now this is her 3rd opening. Peggy?
I just have a few brief comments, but I just can't say how this property has brought this area in the 11th District. It's given it so much life. So I remember more than a decade ago when I came on the council what this property looked like then, and it was like the worst by far in the 11th District. So thanks to Holly, who stepped up, I believe in 2010 and began this. And not only did it bring life to this area, but it helped so many people that really needed it. Affordable housing, as the mayor said, is extremely important to Lexington and across our country. But with Holly, she's our blessing, to Lexington. So in more ways than just affordable housing. And I'm very grateful to her and AU Associates and everyone that's been involved in this project on behalf of my constituents that live here. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Councilmember Henson. We really appreciate it. And speaking of appreciation, the next person I'm going to introduce you to is Rick McQuady. It was a long time ago when Rick was still at the helm of Kentucky Housing Corporation when we first learned about this property, and that was when our trails began, as it were. So that was when we began phase 1, and later Rick then became the director of affordable housing for Lexington. So without further ado, Rick.
Thank you, Holly. It's great to be here, and I'm the sole employee of the Lexington Affordable Housing Fund, but we do have board members who do an awful lot of work and are very dedicated to the cause of affordable housing in Fayette County as well. And two of them are here today, Jeff Fugit and Bill Alverson. So we really appreciate them and their support for affordable housing as well. As Holly mentioned, this site has a history, and the whole story I'm not going to tell, but let's just put it, the short story is Holly rescued this site. There was a lot going on, a lot of history behind it, but I made one phone call to Holly and she agreed to help me out of a little bit of a jam related to this property, and I just can't believe what it has transformed into. It's just beautiful, 108 affordable housing units that look fantastic and will be a great home for the residents who reside here. I also want to thank the partners, KHAC, the Lexington Division of Grants put $500,000 of home funds. KHAC's the big one though, they put all the money in. They purchased the tax credits. Cub Bank, Citizens Union Bank, provided destruction and permanent financing and allowed the Affordable Housing Trust Fund to participate in their loan. We provided $960,000 of the first mortgage loan. And we also provided a $230,000 pre-development loan for this property so that they could do all the work needed to be done before construction could begin. And that loan has since been repaid and already recycled into additional affordable housing units here in Lexington. Our $960,000 is at 1%, and that low rate allows Holly and Johan to keep these rents low here for the families that will live here. That's the big factor. It costs the same to build stick-built affordable housing as it does stick-built housing as it does affordable housing. The key is getting the debt service down, and that's the purpose of what I'm trying to do, what the Division of Grants is trying to do, and what all the partners are trying to do with this property and with other properties similar to it here in Fayette County. So in closing, I just want to welcome the residents to their new home. These are beautiful apartments, as I said, it has really transformed this neighborhood. And thanks to all the partners. And one of the key partners in all of housing in Kentucky, as well as in Fayette County, here is Kentucky Housing Corporation. And their attorney, who was the head of multifamily housing, is here today to speak to us. His name is Jeremy Ratliff, and he's done a great deal to assist us and work with us on this project. So Jeremy, if you'd like to say a few words, thank you.
Thank you, Rick. My name is Jeremy Ratliff. I'm the General Counsel at Kentucky Housing Corporation, but I did have the pleasure of being the managing director of multifamily programs at the time that this particular project was funded. And it's a great honor to be here on behalf of the staff and the Board of Directors of Kentucky Housing Corporation to celebrate this great project. What a beautiful project and a beautiful day to have it on. 108 units that most people will probably drive by and say, well, those are nice looking apartments, but I guarantee you to the residents who get to live here, it's much more than just nice looking apartments. Safe, affordable housing is the foundation for success in life. And so this represents much more than just 108 units of family housing in Lexington. Kentucky Housing was able to fund or allocate $393,581 of low-income housing tax credits to this project, which KHEC then did magic and turned into close to $3.8 million of equity in this deal. And as Rick talked about, affordable housing is not cheap housing, but it's affordable because of all of the partners that come to the table and allocate various resources to the project that allow it to have a low debt service so that it can remain affordable and still be feasible financially in the long term. And so we would like to thank the City of Lexington, who allocated home and trust fund to this project, Citizens Union Bank, who's the lender, KHEC, of course, who was the equity provider and purchased those tax credits we were able to allocate to it, and of course, last but not least, AU Associates, who's a great partner to Kentucky Housing as we work to try to address the affordable housing needs of the Commonwealth. Thank you.